My name is Frances Seymour. I will be your moderator for the next 90 minutes. I have been asked to make an announcement that the alumni meeting, previously scheduled for 1:30, I believe, has been postponed until 2 p.m. in the RAFA room. So if anyone was planning to go to that, you don't have to rush out of this session to make it. Let me introduce myself briefly. As the program suggests, I am the former Director General of the Center for International Forestry Research. And so, with emphasis on the former, nothing that comes out of my mouth in the next 90 minutes should be attributed to my former organization. I'm happy to welcome you to this session entitled Securing Ecosystem Services for Food and Water. And I will encourage all of you and my distinguished panelists to keep that focus in mind in their presentations and in the discussion to follow. What we have is a very rich set of 4 presentations, 3 taking as a starting point a particular product or service of interest: fish, water, livestock, and 1 more cross-cutting in sustainable agriculture. And then we should have plenty of time for discussion. We're quite privileged that the overrun of the morning session did not cut into our time, so we do have the full hour and a half. And I will be quite vigorous in keeping the presentations on time so as to privilege time for discussion. And I want to say that the discussion time can certainly be used to pose particular questions to the panelists, but I also hope you will feel free to raise more general, cross-cutting other issues that are not specific to the particular presentations. It will not surprise you that I will now abuse the chair for just a couple of minutes to make sure that forests get a place of privilege in this discussion. As you can imagine, I was thrilled that the previous discussion had 2 eloquent statements about the importance of forests. And many of you heard me yesterday express some frustration that the framing of the global problem areas, so the poverty and inequity, the energy and climate change, the food and water, has as an unintended consequence that forestry, although it's central to all of these, kind of drops out and then doesn't get the attention that it deserves. But of course, forests are very relevant to this discussion as an upstream contributor to the production of goods and services that will be the focus of the presentations. I'd argue, for example, that forests provide aquatic habitat for coastal and freshwater fisheries, that forests are an important input to livestock through the provision of a lot of fodder, and of course, forests are important to agricultural sustainability through a range of ecosystem services. But I will now admit to you what I didn't say in my presentation yesterday, that the research basis to support those assertions is not as empirically strong as we would like it to be. And if you would like to curry favor with the moderator, please raise this issue again during the discussion section so we can have some discussion about the research agenda on forests and this range of environmental services. So with that, we will move directly into the agenda. Let me first step back a moment and introduce our distinguished rapporteur, Nikolai Khabarov. I submit to you that Nikolai is actually the most important person in the room for this session because he is the one whose job it is to assure the immortality of what happens in our session. And he is responsible for distilling the 3, 4, 5 key killer bullet points that will then be transmitted to the summary of the whole day. So if you would like to do him a favor, please make your interventions in very pithy bullet point summary of things that can be transmitted into the final proceedings. And Nikolai will also keep me in line and make sure that we stay on time and that sort of thing. So what we have is the 4 presentations. I suggest that we just go straight through them and then have a general discussion. Each speaker is limited to 10 minutes, and at the 9-minute mark, I will stand up as a very subtle signal to move on to the last slide. I see no reason not to begin.